Hello and welcome to the Global Electronics Report. It's Friday, July 29th, and my name's Trevor Galbraith. Yesterday we had a very interesting webinar hosted by Global SMT in Packaging and an exciting, well-attended event.
Well, I think the key areas of interest, the polling questions were good, but the questions that they sent in at the end were
Inventic and Seho systems. The interactive debate addressed a number of common defects and issues involved in the wave soldering and selective soldering process. After the webinar, I spoke to Bob by phone and asked him what, in his opinion, were the highlights.
Related, which I think Emmanuel, she did a great job on that. Some were tooling related. I hated to keep harping on the issue of process and that you have to have good material, but we get this so often. People do not measure solderability. They do not look at flux residues, and they don't look at ionic contamination. And and again, I wasn't trying to harp on it. I was just trying to say, and I think I made that point somewhere, that when we go out and work on, for example, the reason you have those slides on poorly maintained wave machines, even on selective. I go out, I work on every brand from A to Z of wave and selective. I seldom, if ever, find a problem with the machine other than poor maintenance. The problem is always the process.
The process is a combination of the material and the person using it. So
exactly.
Right. So it could be an operator that's maybe not knowledgeable enough about the material, doesn't have enough information about the material, or it could be the material itself.
Right, exactly. The analogy is, don't go buy a brand new BMW M5 and don't have good driving skills and don't put in cheap gasoline. And that's basically that's it. And maybe people don't want to hear that, but that's what I was trying to impart. Is that's the real world that we run in.
Okay, those of you interested in watching this fact-filled webinar can just log on to globalsmt.net and fill in the short registration form. My good friend and colleague Keith Bryant joins me now on the line, and he, if you remember, was on our very first Global Electronics report to talk about Brexit. Since that report, which was very popular, should I say, there's been a few developments, but not that many. So, welcome, Keith.
Thank you, Trevor.
Okay, so maybe you can give us a little bit of an update about some of the things that are happening, and perhaps in particular some of the preparations that Smart Group are making for Brexit.
Okay, thank you, Trevor. Well, the situation is, as they say, becoming clearer, but only slightly. With Smart Group, we have some very good guys in our technical committee who are what I would call experts on the legislation. We're going through that at the moment, checking things with other people within Europe as to how things would move forward. And we hope, first of all, to put out a webinar fairly shortly when we have a little bit more, should I say, a little bit more fact that's completely clear, and we're in a situation where it's actually good enough to tell people without a lot of ifs, buts, and probablys.
Right. So this is specifically to try and identify which standards will remain from the EU and which ones that you will need to embody into British legislation.
That's exactly correct, Trevor. The legislation process within the European Union is different. They have, if you like, different levels of legislation. Some of them are automatically enshrined into the law of every country when they go on to the, let's call them statute books. And others, if we get closer to becoming autonomous, will have to be put into our statutes individually because we're no longer covered by the umbrella. Obviously, we need just about everything because we still want to be dealing with Europe. Mm-hmm. There are one or two internal things related to health and safety and this kind of thing, which a few of our members have questioned, is this still going to be valid for us? Because they don't affect other countries currently who sell into Europe.
Right, right. Yeah, it's certainly going to be an interesting journey. On the wider political front and business front, it seems that a lot of investment has slowed down a bit, which is a bit premature because this is essentially going to be a 2-year process.
Yeah, 2 years at the absolute minimum. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say major investment has slowed down. I mean, we have several US companies who have UK manufacturing sites who are actually already talking about increasing and bringing more product to be manufactured in the UK than it was before. We have several global multinationals who are looking to move out of what we will call what is going to become the Eurozone and move into the UK. But when you talk to companies who are looking to buy capital equipment, yes, they are, let's be honest, I would guess they're still a little bit nervous. And they're saying, you know, nothing has changed. We still need to buy this kit, but we're not going to be signing an order in the next few weeks.
It's just the timing that's changed, but the intent is still there. Yeah, we're starting to see, talking about onshoring and reshoring, we're seeing examples of that over here in the United States as well. I was at the Panasonic Cloud9 Innovation Center opening a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about projects that were coming back from Asia, and even at least one greenfield project where a large OEM was starting from the ground up. So there's definitely some evidence of that. Anyway, Keith, I want to thank you for jumping in and giving us a quick update. I'm sure we're going to be talking about this for many months to come. But for now, thanks very much.
As always, Trevor, it's a pleasure. And next time, hopefully, there will be a little bit of more solid information coming out of the UK as we go forwards.
Right. Okay, I look forward to it. Thank you. Foxconn assumes control of their recent Japanese acquisition Sharp at the end of the month, according to Chairman Terry Gao. The company plans to restructure the ailing business, and there are wide reports of Sharp executives leaving for other posts ahead of anticipated layoffs that could number as many as 3,000 in Japan alone. Foxconn has made it clear that all layoffs will be handled sensitively. Other unprofitable Sharp entities in foreign countries are expected to close. It's no secret that whenever you attend an SMT industry event, there's a large sea of grey hair. Catering to its primary audience, SMTA is going back to the 60s with a hippie-style party on Tuesday, July 27th at SMT AI. Of course, another important event that day will be the Global Technology Awards, and details of this year's ceremony will be released very soon. In other news, a report from BCCC Research predicts that the market for flip chip devices will rise from $27.2 billion this year to $41.4 billion by 2021. Given increasing miniaturization and increased functionality required from chips, there's no surprises there. Juki Automation Systems Europe won an Outstanding Performance Award from their parent company, Juki Group. President and CEO Bob Black said, "We are proud that our European office received the Performance Award for the first 6 months of 2016. And finally, Jackie Zhao has been promoted to head up sales in China for VI Technology. Zhao has a long industry heritage, having previously worked for American Tech, WKK, and Flextronics. That's it for this week. Check back with me next week for more top stories from around the electronics world. This is Trevor Galbraith.